live.
All right. So I guess we could just give everyone an update for the recording. Like we just came up with the date and
Yeah. Yeah, so you could go ahead and just, we're live now. So I think you
yeah.
could just make the
Yeah,
announcement.
what's going on, guys? We just had. I'm sure all of you guys were just previously on here, but just for the sake of the recording, we're just setting this up. We chose March 14th, I believe it was, 2021 for GJ. So I'm just setting the charts up right now for the back tester.
Just like a random date. Yeah, so.
Yes, and if nobody has this yet, it's just a simulator that you basically it feels like trading in the live market. I test a lot of any of my success that I've gotten in the past from this, just because of the practice and experience I've been able to gain with it. So, highly recommend everyone get it. And there's always that feeling as traders that you want the best setup, you want all these different things, and you need all that to make money. And I basically lay out for my team like a hierarchy of things that you want to be spending money on
Yeah.
in the beginning. This is number one. Soft4fx is number one. I would say Magic Keys is number two, and you can obviously get the display feature on the computer, which is cheaper. You don't have to actually get the hardware, right? And then after that, you start making some profits in the market. Then you can start buying screens and computers and all that. But Soft4fx, it's only $99. Highly recommend getting it. We make no money from it, so I'm not trying to plug it on purpose. I think it's a great program that I wish I came up with.
I personally don't think, like, a lot of people that go out and they start spending money on, like, multiple different screens, like, you don't really need it.
You know, you make
You,
$1,000,000 on a laptop.
yeah. A laptop, and then, like, if you could get, like, a very cheap, like, additional screen, that's fine. You don't need to have, like, 10, 15 different screens.
I will say this though, it does make it more enjoyable to backtest and to trade and all that on a better screen, but
Yeah.
just keep it in your mind, like you just want to make yourself earn that. Have that mindset where like I haven't earned all this yet.
Yeah, absolutely.
I need to earn that, and I need to prove to myself that I'm a better trader, or that I'm a good trader before I start spending money on and investing into my business, if that makes sense for you.
Yep.
Okay, so we're starting out over here with $10,000. This is just the window, basically, where you control the entire session. We can explain it as we go through, but we don't want to waste too much time on that. I'm sure most of you already know what the software is anyway. But we're just going to start breaking down the chart, starting with the monthly over here on GJ. I tried to get as much data as I possibly could, but we have enough price action over here on the monthly to the left that we could judge this on, that we don't have to go all the way back here. Let's say once price breaks above, I believe this is 156. So
Yeah.
Let's take a look over here. I'm just going to mark this up.
And then again, just because, again, for the recording, I'm going to go ahead and say that if you guys have any questions, just go ahead and put that into the chat and we'll get to it. So again, this is pretty much another episode of our series here. We're going to go through the entire simulation session. We're going to do the entire chart analysis like Stephanos is doing here. So you'll see the input from both of us. And then if you have any questions, just go ahead and put it into the chat.
Yep. And guys, don't be afraid to ask questions. I think it's whatever you want to know. We're not going to judge. There's no stupid questions.
Yeah.
I mean, there are stupid questions out there, but we're going to ignore that. Can you guys see your video? Like, if I move this, is that not showing? Like, can you see it, Sharma?
I can see your screen, yeah.
But I'm saying, can you see, like, our video?
Like our face?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the thing is, like, since I'm doing the Streamlabs, I just moved it to the side just so we have all the screen space.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So I'm just going to move mine to the side, but it's still on there?
Yeah,
I just moved it onto my other screen.
Yeah, so whether you have it or not, like, I don't think they're going to see it. They're only going to see it if I, like, pull it up.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So I'm going to move it onto the other screen just so we have all the screen space here. So they're probably not going to see our faces.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're looking over here, and obviously 156, if you guys trade GJ, very significant level, previous resistance, previous little recovery period from the Brexit tank, right?
Yeah.
So we ended up coming up to 156, and then we gradually started coming all the way back down, and this was our COVID tank, if you will. I don't want to say like dump or anything like that, or collapse. But it looks like we had that support right over here. We never passed the lows of the 2008 market crash. And then we ended up rejecting right over here in March. And then we've just been bullish ever since, making higher highs, higher lows, all the way back up to 156. So we got some nice, healthy, bullish candles over here. So let's look at the weekly. Feels weird being on MT4. So you use MT5 now. So, and then obviously, Sharma, you can add your analysis if there's anything you want to add.
For sure.
But we have this previous resistance over here. Candle body closes, rejections multiple times over here. So right now we ended up just crossing it. And on the weekly, we got a nice clean move all the way back up to 153,500. So I'm just going to make a little resistance right there.
So that's a very key support area that you have marked off now. That was a very key resistance in the past, right? So that's what you want to pay attention to as well. So price pretty much just blew past that resistance right there. Yeah, so just pretty much blew past that without ever coming back and retesting it as of right now. So you gotta understand, whenever price does that every single time, it's becoming an overexhausted move. It always has to correct itself. The market's never just gonna move in one single direction forever without correcting it. So there's only two ways that the market's ever gonna collect orders, and it's through retracements, or it's gonna be through consolidation. So we're gonna see, one of those two things happening very soon, but that's something that you're just gonna have to kind of see over time as candles start forming.
Yep, and I was just pointing out real quick that look how significant this level is. This is on the weekly. Look at this drop, right? This drop right over here started this bearish trend over here. We got into that area right over here. We never tapped it, but we ended up doing the same exact thing. So the fact that we just crossed above it is pretty, we got some pretty strong momentum going. And plus this current weekly candle is very bullish as well. But now I just want to make sure, let's get rid of that. Just want to make sure that we're, so Monday, just want to catch us up to the exact.
We also have a question. Someone really wants to know about why is risk management so important with trading. So we'll go over that as well while we're doing the simulation session.
Yeah, of course. Very important. That could be, I'm guessing, don't take this the hard way, but I'm guessing you're somebody that's new to Forex, but eventually, once you start trading and you're really developing your trading plan and understanding the way you like to trade and developing your system, risk management could be that one thing that kind of sets you over into profitability instead of just being break even. It is for so many different people. It was for me. It's one of the most important things. And I put it right in there with discipline, but they are pretty different at the same time. And you could talk about both in different contexts, but very important, extremely important. If you want to touch on that, you can. I'll keep
risk management, that's the most important part of trading in general. And I think I would kind of put risk management first and then discipline, because in some ways it's kind of part of it. If your risk management is completely out the window and you're not really sure how to manage your trades or anything like that, most likely you're not going to have discipline in trading either. Is gold going to be covered? Most likely not. We're just going to try to keep this short just to answer you guys' questions. There's a lot of questions that we get about chart analysis, how to mark up levels and taking trades, break and retest, candle formations. So we're just going to do that on GJ, but you're going to see the same exact thing happening regardless of whatever pair that you trade. So if you trade gold, you're going to see the same exact setups that we're going to be talking about here on gold as well.
Sometimes when I clone these, it doesn't clone to the exact place that we like. So let's see if this works.
Yeah, risk management is discipline. All these things are kind of subjective. And like Stefano said, that risk management is the part that takes you from being in loss all the time or just being at break even, and then finally getting to the profitability side. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people on the live here who can attest to that.
Of course.
Someone asked, are you going to be swing trading on the simulation session? We're probably going to be looking for a scalp, and if it turns into a swing, then, great.
Yep. So as we're looking, actually, let's go back to the daily, because I was kind of just doing it as I was back testing by myself, or as if I was back testing by myself. But as you guys can see with GJ, we've been respecting this bullish trend over here since the start of COVID, making higher highs, higher lows, tapping into this area multiple times, and then all of a sudden it just took off once we tapped into 137.300, right? So we've been respecting this bullish trend as well, extremely bullish trend, just making higher highs, higher lows. Right now the current daily candle is bullish, but the previous two candles, this candle was a strong bullish candle but closed with no top wick. The next one, I'm guessing past the high of that candle, came down, flipped bearish, created its bottom wick, and then retraced right back to here, so it's kind of like a doji. Right. The next candle ended up creating its bottom wick and flipping bullish over here. So are we just creating a top wick over here to continue down and retest somewhere in this area over here, anywhere in here, to form some kind of a support and then continue right back up? We could be, but let's see.
Another thing that I do is usually when price comes back and rejects in like a certain area multiple times, then I'll just like draw like a circle or like a line or something, and then just try to see like, okay, what has price been doing? Like for example, like in this case right around here, so we see like how price has made those top wick rejections, right? But it didn't really continue bullish with a lot of volume, except for this candle that finally came up and closed above it, and that's the same exact area where this next bottom wick rejection came from this bearish candle. So I would like go back and take a look at, okay, what's happening to this level, mark it off here, and then go and look to the left. If you're like on TradingView or something, like that's how you would do it.
Yeah, great point. Let's see. Okay, so the 4 hour. 4 hour, we keep tapping into this area, just like Sharma says, it's a very significant area over here, and it looks like we keep rejecting these areas over here. So I'm going to mark off a resistance right here that we need to close above before we end up continuing bullish. So we have multiple rejections, especially with this wick right here where candles flip bearish, and right now we're at that area. So let's see something real quick.
Someone asked, do you use trend lines as Confluence or just price action? We're putting the trend lines on here just so you guys can visually see like what's the trend and everything. But usually when we're trading, I don't personally use the trend lines to base my trades off of. It's just to visually show.
I wouldn't say I use the trend lines. I look for key levels where price is reacting off of support or resistance, and the trend line just happens to be there. The trend line is very subjective. The support and resistance is pretty cut and dry, right? So it just helps you understand price. Okay, the main confluence is support and resistance. Then that second thing that you can add on there where you're not letting it bother you with trades, but you're just, it's just a visual representation of what the trend actually is. It helps, especially if you get used to it. And, you if you like it, do it. So we're going to find these off.
How can someone improve on Confluence? So you're going to see how we're going across different time frames, and then how we're going to end up taking the entry using the Confluence from across time frames. So you'll see all of that.
So this is actually Monday, 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I guess we'll keep it on the single chart. Normally what I like to do is put the 4 hour, the 1 hour, 30 minute, and 15 minute in the four corners, but it just takes too long. So we'll just be going back and forth with our different time frames over here. So is there anything you want to add, Sharma?
No, so we're sitting at key levels, as you guys can tell. Overall, whenever you see messy price action like this, where you have like consolidation happening and everything, legit draw it out if you need to, where price is headed in a bullish direction. So in this case, for example, I'm going to go ahead and annotate.
Sure.
So in this case, for example, we marked off the bullish structure, and now you're just looking at bullish structure within bullish structure, since this is the hourly time frame. So now what we're taking a look at is pretty much this entire movement to the upside. Price continues bullish, gives you a retest, right? And then continues bullish from there. So just mark off some of the key points, right? That's what happened here. And then this entire meltdown that pretty much happened came right back down to correct this bullish move to the left, right? And when you go up on higher time frames, like the 4-hour time frame or something like that, that's where we'll see that massive retracement happening in order for price to continue bullish. Could you go back up to the 4-hour just so I can show them real quick?
Yes.
Yeah, so on the 4-hour time frame, what we had is this massive bullish push up right about here. You got a retracement, a nice slow retracement, price creating support. Take a look to the left and see what is price doing. These are all the areas that price has rejected, right? Created a support, a nice push up, and then on the 4-hour time frame, on the hourly, we saw nice retracements happening around these areas, but on the 4-hour time frame, it was just a massive push up, right? Which has to be corrected again. So that's why we saw on the hourly time frame a massive meltdown and then a continuation back up. So now we're sitting at a key level. Are we going to reject this and then continue back down? If we do, that's when you start targeting some of your sell opportunities. But if price breaks above this, then of course we wait for a break and retest formation on some of the lower time frames and then take our entries. So that's the confluence between the 4-hour and the 1-hour.
A message coming in from someone. All right, perfect. So like we said, we're right at that resistance. Obviously, Sharma was just pointing out that trend that we're in.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back to the lower time frames now and see if there's anything that we could take. Is that doing that? There we go. All right, so as I marked off this previous support over here, right, price is like in this range. And you want to look at most recent support resistance. That's what I do as a scalper. And this is going to help you guys as well because you may start out doing that, and then all of a sudden, like, you start to get more and more into maybe trying to hold trades over a longer period of time, looking over to the left a lot, and then you start to lose the fact that you're looking at most recent support resistance. You start to get confused, especially in the beginning of your trading. I've seen that a lot with different traders. But eventually, like, if you start to get a little confused, just look at the most recent support resistance. Look at the range that price is in. Price is respecting this support, respecting this resistance. We're in a bullish trend right now, so we're looking for buys and looking for supports to form. But if we break this support over here, could we be continuing down? We do have a clean move on the 1-hour all the way back down to this area right over here. So this is our most recent next zone that we want to mark off, previous resistance as well, right? And then you also want to check what are the ranges. This is only a 15 pip range. This is about a 24, 25 pip range, which is more ideal to trade in, especially because, you know, you got some clean moves right here. So there's a higher likelihood of price mirroring these moves over here. Also a cleaner move over here as well. So this is more of a range that you want to trade in, not over here, right? Basically what I want to say. So 152 is a very significant level over here, which we're at right now. We need to see what's going to happen. Looking at the 30-minute, I never cloned this.
Sell opportunities at the high where price may be rejecting, coming back down. And if it break above, look for your buy setups. Yeah, so on this hourly time frame, exactly what Stefan just said. What he's doing now is closing in on the price action, right? Where's the consolidation area? Where would he be looking for his buys or sells? Clearly, the buys are going to be above the break of the consolidation, and the sells are going to be break of the support of the consolidation.
Exactly. So again, we said we had a 25 pip range in here, and then we got a nice big range once we break that resistance, which we could go back over to the daily. And obviously, let's mark this off actually and see what level that is. 153 flat. So let's clone that. See if we can see it on a 30-minute. Yeah, there you go. So we get a nice big range all the way up to that area. But let's see what we get on the lower time frames over here. We'll speed it up a little bit. And then we can always, I can skip a few bars just so that we can see what happens once we get out of here.
Yeah.
That's the...
And in this case, like, we see the consolidation from, like, 4-hour, 1-hour, 30-minute, all these different time frames. So from higher time frames to lower time frames, you see a hard consolidation in these areas, which tells you that, this is a liquidity area. One other way, and what that essentially means when you're looking for trades, is you're going to be looking for a massive volume to follow. And so we've had price pretty much come back and kind of, stay in this zone previously, and then there was a massive sell-off that happened after a retest. So now what we're looking at is a potential mimic of this movement to the downside. But again, you want to be watching out for some of the minor levels, waiting for your confirmations, waiting for candles to close in the zone or below the zone, and then continuation down from there.
Exactly. So it looks like right now we got a nice strong bearish candle right over here, but we ended up closing at support, right? So this isn't clear enough that we're going to continue right back down. We do have a clear move to the left. I'm looking for a top wick on this candle formed, and maybe a pass below the low of this candle right here. Now, Sharma, you obviously with our groups, it's easier for everyone to take a trade and all that stuff. But I think with this, it'll just be me and you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, cool. So, is there anything that you want to do so far?
I would drop down to the 15-minute just to confirm, and then just zoom in a little bit. So if the 15-minute can give me a top break rejection and continue down, now what I'm looking at is minor levels. Again, where is price rejecting? Where's my best confirmation of entry going to be? And in this case, it would have to be, once price clears out below this area right here, just so we can clear out this minor consolidation, retracements, fake outs. And then I would take the entry as price breaks below this. This also gives price enough range if it wants to come back and do like a fake out, maybe make like a bottom wick rejection right into the previous consolidation area, and then continue back up bullish. It gives it enough room to do a fake out, break and retest, whatever it wants to do. And then it gives me enough time to look at whether there are rejections or not.
My big thing is, as you guys can see, let's see. As you see the time over here, it is 6:30 right now, and the 30-minute candle just opened, right? 30-minute candle right here just opened. If this just drops, I'm cool just missing this.
Yeah.
My rules are, if we drop and pass the low of the previous candle in the first 2, 3, 4 minutes of the candle, I'm not going to take that. And that's why a trading plan is so important for you guys, because you need the exact definition of an entry that you're going to take. It just can't be like, all right, I see this could be a possible trade, I might take this. It can't be like that. It needs to be defined. And if you guys don't know what exact entries that you're looking for and the ones that you want to take and you're comfortable with, then just go back in your journal and look at some of the trades that you succeeded with, some of the trades that you've journaled that you may have taken in the past that you wish you took, or some of your losses. And you'll see. And if you're not journaling, that's a different story. But
you should be.
That's just something that you want to be focusing on and make sure that you're doing.
Absolutely.
So we're passing the low right now, right as that candle starts. So we're just going to watch this play out now that we're out of the range.
Yeah, so I'm just waiting for that little area, seeing how price reacts to it. So these are the different confluences that you can get across time frames. And again, it just comes down to understanding like where are the minor levels. Obviously you don't want to mark off every single level, or else your entire chart is just going to be filled with lines and you're not going to know where to take an entry. But just look at what are some minor areas that price can kind of react off of, and then that'll give you the extra confirmation for an entry.
Exactly.
There's another question: how can you master time frame correlation, and how hard was it when you first started trading?
What was the question?
How can you master time frame correlation, and I think they mean, and how hard was it when you first started trading?
Time frame correlation. I think you just got to understand that, all the time frames are the same. The only difference is time. Like all these candles, the only difference between this candle right here on the 30-minute and the candle on the daily is just the amount of data that's in that candle. Like how much information is in that candle that was able to form that candle, and how much time has been put into, finding that. As you guys can see, this candle's snapping back right now. So you just want to be aware. You guys got to be aware in ranges like this, because we're in an uptrend. You guys are looking for a sell. So you got to have that absolute conviction that price is an actual sell over here before, kind of just jumping into this, being afraid that you're going to miss the trade.
Yeah.
Patience is everything.
I think like just mastering the time frame correlation, I think they're pretty much talking about confluence across time frames. And that is always going to be hard, but again, like I said, exactly what we're doing here, circle off levels that price is reacting off of, and then go across time frames, take a look at what's happening to the left of that, to the right of that, whatever's happening, and then take a look at how many times do you see the same exact setup happening over and over again. And then take a look at if it's a hard consolidation, for example. If there's a hard consolidation, then is there important news coming out that week that the market is preparing for? Or has the price been in an insanely bullish momentum and it hasn't even corrected it? And, is that why price is consolidating to collect some more orders and then continue in a certain direction?
So we getting a lot of questions coming in?
We have a few questions, yeah. So that was the latest question. Again, if you guys are just joining and you have any questions, just feel free to put it into the chat.
And it could be a lot of psychology stuff too, because that's a lot of stuff that we cover. So
yeah,
while we're doing this and waiting for the simulator to play out, it's good to just ask whatever you've been wondering or whatever you're struggling with right now. Maybe odds are we've both been through it, so we'll be able to answer that for you.
Mm-hmm. What software do you like better to backtest, with Soft4fx or TradingView? I like Soft4fx, and then TradingView. I actually like both, but I'd use both of them for different purposes. So.
Yeah, it's tricky. Like, I'm up in the city a lot and I have my iPad, so I can't backtest using this software while I'm up there.
Mm-hmm.
But what I do is I use the rewind tool on TradingView in that circumstance, and I journal those trades and everything. But
yeah.
Now this candle is starting to pass the low of that candle right away. I'd rather wait. I mean, the 1 hour just opened up. 1 hour created its top wick, and now it's passing the low of that candle. Is this something that you want to take?
I personally would not take that, and again, it comes down to the different levels. So if we go back up to the 1 hour, for example. So back up on so even on the 15-minute, for example. So 15-minute, we still haven't cleared out all this area. We had a doji close, which tells me that there is like some sort of exhaustion. We pull back right into the zone. So I need to see a clear break and retest below this area before I take an entry.
Exactly. Like if there's something coming in here.
Mm-hmm.
Nice clean close again. You got a gap right there. But, when you're in a major uptrend, right, you're taking these sells over here. So you want clean candles closing in your direction. You don't want to be taking impulse entries or anything like that. You just want to be safe, especially on a Monday. Keep that in mind. Today's a Monday. We got plenty of moves for the week. So just got to be patient. Wait for candles to close in your direction.
Yep.
Just like Sharma said, you get this whole area right over here that you just got to be aware of.
You just see a ton of rejections in that area, either as a support, resistance, fake out, consolidation support, whatever it is. Just wait for that area to be cleared out, wait for a proper break and retest between these two zones that, Stefanos just created. And then look for your entry.
A lot of you guys are getting FOMO right now, too.
For sure. For sure.
I feel like we're missing out on this, huh? That's a nice close, though. But, again, we just rejected this area. Look at this whole consolidation. Oh. This whole consolidation right here. Right here. All these wicks. And you guys got to be completely content with missing trades. If you miss a trade, it's not the end of the world. You got plenty of opportunities, especially on a Monday. So if we miss this and we just tank right here, all right, we journal it and we learn for the next time.
Yeah, and if you're like, for example, looking to turn, for example, my style is turning scalps into swing trades, right? So I don't mind if there's like a scalp opportunity that I just missed because I didn't see it turning into a swing trade opportunity. That's completely fine. Be comfortable with not having to take every single trade and be comfortable with having no trade days as well.
It's hard to do, like Sharma just makes it sound so simple, so do I, but it is hard to do, just sitting back. And a really good practice, I've heard this from a couple successful traders, is try just watching the charts, waking up every single morning, getting to the charts, doing your whole breakdown and everything, and literally sitting on your hands the entire week. You'll learn so much about yourself. You'll be able to develop that discipline. It's a great practice for you. Look at we're rejecting that level that Sharma just pointed out.
There you go.
Why you stay patient on Mondays?
We rejected that twice already, and now we're pushing bullish. We have another question, and I think it's for you, Stefanos. What moving averages do you use?
I like to keep, again, same thing with trend lines. I don't use them. Like, I'm not looking for these to cross and I'm going to enter. Like, I don't use indicators that way, but I keep the EMAs on here. I like the 50 and I like the 200 based on the way that I trade. I think these are the two most prevalent not indicators, but EMAs that I've seen. I study a lot of different traders, so I see the way that they're doing it, and a lot of them have used the 200 and the 50 at the same time, and it just helps to keep them on there. But again, like I said, with the trend lines, it can't be something that hampers you. You can't let it hold you back from trades that you should be taking, and you can't let it like make you jump into a trade just because the EMA is running that way. Right. My main Confluence, everything that I do, trade based off of, is support and resistance. That's all I need. I could get rid of everything, and that's all I have, and I'll be fine. But it just helps to have them on there. Why wouldn't you? Like, I know how to use a Fibonacci. Do I use it all the time? No. Right? So you just keep it on there, and it helps.
It's like knowing a lot of different tools, but then also understanding like which one works best for you.
Yeah, exactly. Now, also keep in mind, guys, we've been, what is this, the 15th? So that's all London. Look how long we've been consolidating in this area over here. Now, what I want to see is price respecting this resistance right here, because what this looks like to me is price is trying to exit this area, but we rejected because of this, right? And now we're just kind of like retesting this consolidation over here. So I want to see us respect this area right here, and if it does, then I think price should be pushing through once we get some good volume.
At this point, what I would personally start doing if I was in the live markets is now starting to close in on the price action. So whether the 30-minute, I would personally do the 30-minute time frame, yeah. So now what I would do is back up to the 30-minute, yeah, there we go. So now what I would do is close in onto the exact consolidation area. Where's the consolidation happening? Right into this area, right? Majority of it is just right into that area. So what I'm looking for now is a pullback, a break and retest, which happened right below this, but we know that this is an important zone. So what I want to see here is a clear retracement instead of just a break and retest. I want to see some sort of clear retracement and then a continuation down, because by that point we should be getting a break and retest somewhere here. So all I'm trying to use here at this point is, because another point, maybe I should backtrack a little bit, is because you have that minor bullish structure that we pointed off, and then you have all that consolidation area. If there's going to be any change of structure here, of minor structure, and price is going to continue bearish, I need to see that retracement happening.
Exactly. And you got a new lower high over here as well. Price is rejecting this whole area right here.
Yep.
Right, so this is a very significant resistance, and then Sharma just pointed out this trend line right here. It's a great point. Like, we're also retesting this trend line, or this consolidation over here, right here. So we got the clean move to the left, multiple confluences right here, just based on price action, no indicators at all.
Yep.
That will show you that price, there's a good possibility that we could start to drop. Now, we're flipping bearish right now on the 30-minute, but now look at the time. There should be multiple things, like a checklist that you have before entering a trade, checking the time, checking the range, checking multiple time frames. There should be different things that you're looking at before you enter a trade, a quick checklist, and that should be on your trading plan. But we got about 3 minutes left before the hour closes. So let's take a look at the hour and see if we do end up closing below the support, because we've rejected on the hour multiple times. About 1.5 minutes left. All right, so the hour ended up staying below this area over here. So let's continue to see what happens. I don't like this candle, the way the 30-minute close like that. But I would want this candle creating a top wick, and then if we pass the low of that candle, I like taking that. There's more. I wish I could show you my journal right now, but I've seen this setup many times. But this candle normally is bullish, right? And then when you have this wick right here, the next candle creates the top wick and past the low of it, we normally just drop, right? So I just got to see a top wick formed at least, or see what ends up happening over here. Ended up filling this wick. Let's see if we would, respect that area over here.
Will you guys use 5 minutes at this point to see structure? I personally don't go down to 5 minute unless it's gold, and that's like sometimes.
Yeah, I like using the 5 and the 1. It just gives you what do I want to say? The most recent price action, I guess you could say, right? It's you see these candles turning every 30 or every 60 seconds. Right, so you get that data in time. You can't let it like kind of ruin your trading or anything like that. I've seen that happen before, but just got to be smart with those lower time frames.
Yeah.
You can't let them really, take you out of a trade way too early or anything like that.
There's
Take them like a grain of salt.
Another thing, someone said you have a video on here where you said you took an entry that day on gold where the bearish wick left wick and there was no bottom wick to bullish candle. Not sure. Is that the one where I took the entry on the 5 minute? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what he's saying either.
Yeah. Alright, so now after we start to close in onto the price action, but the thought process that I'm going to have at this point is we're closing in into all of this right here. This is where majority of the consolidation is. We've started to see that price came all the way up top here, grabbed liquidity, but still closed below the consolidation support, right? So now we're kind of consolidating below the consolidation right down here. So if I'm going to look for any sell opportunities, this first of all is telling me, or it's giving me the confirmation that there is going to be volume that follows after this. So if I'm going to look for any sell opportunities, I need to see this entire level here being cleared out and then continuation down. So this is where you could look for your impulse trade opportunity on your 15 minute, 30 minute, whatever it is. But you want to make sure that you're confirming it with the hourly. You're seeing some sort of break and retest. Again, below this consolidation area up top here, you're seeing some sort of break and retest, and you're also seeing the 4 hour continuing in your direction.
And then keep in mind, right now you got some volume coming in. It's 8:30. So we need volume to push us out of here. And we got plenty of volume after 8:30. You got 9 o'clock. You got 9:15, 9:30, 9:45. 10 o'clock, and then 11 o'clock, right before London closes. You normally get some good volume around 10:45 on GJ. So 10:30 as well. Got plenty of time to wait for price to break out of here.
Yep. Why 5 minute on the gold? That was an NFP trade, so you guys can check that out. It's on the channel. But that's where I was using the confluence between the technical traders, fundamental traders, and market sentiment traders, and I break that down exactly how I did that. There's another question for both of us. If the current candle respected the previous candle high, creating a top wick, would you then enter if it passes the candle low, and where would the stop loss be? So we just explained how we would take the entry. I guess we already answered that.
Perfect. Let's see what we get. See the 30 minute. I like how the 30 minute is rejecting over here.
Yeah, and
well.
then that's additional confirmation right there with the 30 minute with a massive top wick rejection right into that consolidation area. That's liquidity graph for days.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Let's see what these candles do. Yeah, I've seen this many times where you get this kind of uptrend consolidation. I guess you could call this like a channel.
Yeah.
Right? and then we end up breaking it, consolidating. I can't really draw a consolidation right there. Let me get narrow. End up consolidating like this, and then we end up getting some volume and then just driving it.
Yeah. There's a question for you, Stefanos. Was there
actually, you know what? No more questions, guys.
All right. Was there an app that you used on your iPad to journal your trades when you used to post on IG?
Yeah, Trello.
Okay.
Trello I like a lot. A lot of people tend to use Trixie. They like Trixie a lot. I like Trixie too, but I have my whole database on Trello, so why would I switch everything over? It's kind of a nuisance to do that. I have everything in one spot, and I have multiple Trello boards too. We ended up closing above here on the 30-minute. So was this kind of like a fake out to then continue right back up?
Yeah, and now, like, you know, just draw like a horizontal line exactly where that support was made, right? And then just look to the left and see what happened there, right? So, yeah, there you go. There you go. And then now, like, if you clone that
from the beginning.
Yeah, and then you could, like, clone that, and you could drop down to the 15-minute and see, like, okay, this is the area that price reacted off of.
Actually drew that on the, let's make this a psychological level, so 151.50.
Sure.
Now we'll do 40. Alright, so that's good. On that. So now maybe we're retesting right over here to then continue up.
Yeah.
But this one in itself, let's see.
I would also go onto the hourly and just see, like, okay, what's going on there.
So right here, this is a range within itself, right? So price just broke above that range right over here and closed above it. So are we retesting this previous resistance to now continue right back up and retest that resistance, or are we going to close back into that range over here?
Yeah, so this could be that classic, you know, when there's consolidation, there's like a fake out that happens in an opposite direction and then price just continues the other way. It could be classic, one of those.
This is that. Maybe this was that last retest, this liquidity grab right here.
Yeah, and the way that I would map that off is just like, all right, you got that clean support, you got a retest. Now, are we continuing down? In order for us to take that sell, you need to break below that support right there. Do you see what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I think depending on this bearish candle right here, if it closes strong like that, you could have high risk, high reward sells once I don't know. We got to see how this candle closes.
Yeah.
But I've just seen this before. That's why I'm kind of thinking out loud. But the price is kind of all over the place right here. You really typically want to stay out of this.
In a situation like this is exactly when I need a break and retest. Like, no matter what, I need to see some sort of a break and retest. Like, no top wick rejections, nothing like that.
Yep.
Did you ever take entry at London Open?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Alright. I switch between sessions just to help people who may be trading one session but not another in my group. And so every 3 months, every quarter, I just switch to a different session. So sometimes we trade London session, sometimes it's New York, sometimes it's New York and London. So that's how we trade.
Yeah, I think that's cool the way you do that. I mean, we just stick with New York. But what I do, like on my own time, is when I am back testing, all of a sudden I'll be, using the rewind tool on TradingView.
Yeah.
And I'll come across, a trade that happened during London, and I'll journal those trades. Even though it's not my session, it's just good to keep your knowledge going pretty well and train your eyes and understand what goes on during London, because who knows, maybe I'll move out to Europe or something at some point.
Yeah.
Trade it, but, I don't see that time coming any soon. Knock on wood, depending on what happens here in America. It's ridiculous right now.
You also, like, regardless of whatever session that you trade, you always see the same exact setup happening, like, over and over again.
Yeah. 100%. This candle is flipping bearish, which is pretty interesting to me. So what we had was the break of this consolidation right over here with this candle, the break of the bullish trend over here right over here, creating this low over here. And then we just formed our own kind of consolidation below this consolidation, right?
Yep.
And then we get that final tap into the here, final liquidity grab, and we formed a fake out of this zone over here. This is the 30-minute. It's not like this is the 5-minute, right?
Right.
So we can put a lot of stock into some of these candles and understand the way they're moving over here and the way they're setting up. So was this a fake out right over here? To then, we close right back into the range. Is this retesting this previous resistance over here and now flipping bearish?
Mm-hmm.
Could be.
Yeah.
But especially in zones like this, or ranges like this, you want to make sure that you're waiting for candles to close. Either 15 minutes about to close soon.
I definitely need to see like 1 or 2 bullish candle closes on the 30-minute. The lowest I'll go is 30-minute for confirmation, and then the entry could be on 15. That's fine. But if my 30-minute is not lining up with my confirmation, I'm not taking an entry on the 15-minute. So I need to at least see some sort of break and retest on the 30-minute, 1 or 2 candle closes bullish below this consolidation area that we have been, respecting for so long, and then a continuation down. So I need to see, my main focus here is this entire consolidation. What is price doing around here? It seems like the market's still trying to grab liquidity, still trying to grab orders, all that stuff from here. So I definitely need to see this area for sure right here being respected, some sort of break and retest, and then continuation down. If I get one down here, that's perfectly fine. I'll take the entry down here.
Exactly. Let's go back to the 30-minute. So what time is it? It's coming up to 10 o'clock, right? Yeah, 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been ranging for London, previous Asian, right? Now pre-New York, now all New York, we're just ranging in here. So what are the odds that, towards the end of New York, the end of London, we could get that final, push, whether it's up and holding support over here, or we get like a close below this area and we continue right back down.
Yeah, and this is like an hour into NYC open too, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Let's see how this candle closes in about a minute.
Steph knows you got the famous question. You're no longer on IG. What happened?
There you go. I'll be coming soon. We got an imposter on our hands that's trying to imitate me, or was. I scammed a couple people, unfortunately, and I went to report them. Long story short, they ended up disabling my account instead of his. So, me with my principle, I feel like, I shouldn't have to create a new Instagram. I wanted the old one back, especially just because it's a database. Sharma and I were just talking about it. Like, it was a database of all my trades, video breakdowns, all the highlights on my page as well. All the people that followed me too, there's a bunch of factors. It's like, I don't want to start a new one.
Yeah.
If I have to, I will. It's just adversity. But at the same time, it's a principle thing. I want my Instagram back. So
yeah.
I've just been fighting Instagram tooth and nail, trying to get a hold of them. It's impossible. So far it seems like, but I was just telling Charma, pretty soon I'll be back on Instagram and posting for you guys.
Yeah. So in this case, we had the 30-minute that closed bullish here with a major top wick and bottom wick rejection. Hourly closed bearish. So let's see if we can break below that hourly support, this line that we have created. And then once it does, that's where I would take the entry personally.
Yeah, I was so again, we keep rejecting this resistance over here. We get that break of the bullish trend, a retest, and then we get a bearish hourly close and the fake out on the 30-minute, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking for right now a higher risk entry. Typically, I want to wait for candles to close below this support over here, but we've been ranging for so long that if we get some volume soon, we could begin to break below. But I'm waiting. I need a top wick formed on this candle. But if we pass the low of this 1 hour candle right over here, right, after a nice strong bearish 1 hour candle with a clean move to the left, if we pass below that, I might take an impulse entry to take this down. But first, we got to get that. That's in our rules right now. But we need that top wick formed, preferably not in the beginning of that candle.
Someone sent you some love. They said, "Don't give up. Love the attitude, man."
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. So we just broke below. Now we're kind of rejecting a little bit.
Yeah. So once price breaks below this, like, I'm willing to take the trade. Like, yeah. And then my take profit would probably be based off like the 4 hour, see how long it just runs.
Oh! You just missed it.
Yeah, it's all good.
How the hell did that happen?
Just massive sell off.
No, what just happened?
Did it skip through or something?
I don't know how. Damn. Alright, well.
It's all
we
good.
saw how that happened.
Yeah.
Alright, oh well. So, how the hell did that happen?
Sometimes that happens with me when I like press next bar instead of pressing like play by accident.
Did I press next bar? But like it's set on minute 5, so it wouldn't have skipped that much.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I guess we would have been right if we took this.
Yeah. But let's see how.
Right.
Yeah, let's just see how the rest of it goes. Then I guess we could do like
Exactly. Yeah, we're right back at this support over here. Damn.
So this goes to show that sometimes you can lose the trade, or like you probably just miss it. So then it's like, all right, then how do you take the next trade?
Exactly.
Right.
It's a psychological thing right now.
Yeah.
But I guess this would have worked out because once we did end up passing these wicks, this would have been an impulse entry. I would have put my stop loss above the current 30-minute candle, right?
Yeah.
And anticipated price to mirror this move, mirror this move, mirror this move to the left over there.
Yeah. We could see like if there's gonna be any sort of like retracement or any other continuation down, and then that's how you would give your trade a second chance. I'm actually glad this happened. The reason why is because the same thing happens to like so many people where they're like, I did the entire analysis, and like some people they get scared to like execute, some people like just don't execute at all or whatever it is, and they come back and they're like, yo, the move like just happened. So we could, it's all of that, but it's like, okay, how do you give your trade a second chance? So I guess we could quickly go over that if you got the time.
Yeah. You're saying like go over how we would have taken it?
No, so like how would you give the trade a second chance? So like with the new candles forming and stuff, like let's say we already missed the move.
True. Yeah, so like, how could we catch the next move?
Yeah.
Looks like we're breaking below right over here as well. Let's take a look at okay, so we're starting to break market structure over here. Nice, strong resistance over here on the 4 hour. I hate how, there we go. This candle already created its top wick on the 1 hour.
Mm-hmm.
And it's flipping bearish. 15 minute. Okay, 15 minute is about to close.
Alright, so in this case, as it breaks the low, like I would take that entry. We have a break and retest on the 15. So I would take the entry here.
Right here or right here?
Right here.
Okay, you want to take it now?
Yep.
Okay.
I would go in with like, or like even a 3% risk is fine. A little bit
3%?
higher. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
3% risk.
I'll go high. What would you like?
No, just 3%.
Okay.
Maximum I go is 3%. Stop loss just a little bit higher right above the wick. And then I would keep on the 4 hour. I would go on the 4 hour and do the TP there. Yeah, that's fine. That was a 4 hour level. Okay, yeah. So there you go.
Perfect.
And so the reason why I do this is because, again, I'm trying to turn all of my trades from scalps into swing trade opportunities. And so I use the first TP is going to be based off the 4 hour. And then we go on to the daily and then the weekly as the trade continues. But I'm using the Confluence across time frames in order to take the entry. So on the 15 minute, you had a massive sell-off. Like I said, just use simple structure. So there was a massive sell-off that happened right below the consolidation. You got a nice retracement. If we go up to the 30 minute, we are going to see like some rejections and stuff. And then as price continues back down, like this is pretty much where my entry would be, somewhere here, as price continues to break the lows.
Yeah, I'm looking for like a close below that support that I just drew.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm looking for something similar to that. Let's see. I'm trying to juggle multiple things right now. So yeah, we got that consolidation. I'm just waiting for like a close below here. Get some clean candles to the left. You were saying that you're looking for like more of a swinger opportunity.
Yes, turn the scalp
Okay,
into a swing. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, in this case, it probably wouldn't be a swing because the 30-minute, 15-minute, 4-hour, everything that we have, like the range just got a little bit smaller because of our entry. But that's usually how I would do it.
Yeah. The only thing is, I would have entered right here as we broke the low of that candle.
Yeah.
Anticipating us to come down, depending on the range. I don't know.
Like 8 pips.
Yeah. But what we do have is about 30 pips right over here. So let's see if we close below that on the 15-minute, the 30-minute, the support right over here, because that's make me think over here. Nice. Perfect. So we're creating a low right here.
Yep.
Just let me know if you want me to secure or do anything.
I just let it run for like 10 pips or so. And then at 10 pips, I'll like secure half and then just move to break even.
Okay. So you're at 12 right now.
Alright. Yeah, so I would take like close 50%. And then move to break even.
Perfect. Good stuff, Sharma.
Personal question: you guys trade on FTMO or funding talent? Neither. I trade with my own money. I've never done a funded account.
I've always been against the funding accounts, and currently I trade my own money. But I am doing the FTMO, not FTMO, but the funding talent challenge, just so that I can leverage these accounts into. It looks like I missed my entry, but just so I could leverage these accounts into a much bigger personal account where I'm not using my own money doing that. I currently paused the challenge though because they're going through some difficulties with, I guess, liquidity providers or something, where they took away indices, they took away metals and crypto. So I just paused it. I'm like, I'm paying for this challenge. Good shit, Sharma.
Thank you.
So we're up almost 5%, 4.5.
Yeah.
I think that was pretty good for like a session.
Yeah.
Just to like break the trade down, break the session down, show you guys what we would have done, how we would have taken this one out. Like we called this one, but Soft4fx decided to play out on us. But
and then we just talked about like how do you give it a second chance, right? So you just do the same exact thing that we've done for like the initial analysis. I did the same exact thing. We saw a retracement happening, all of that, and then took the trade based off the 15.
And if you guys would like, we could do more of these. I'm down to do more.
Yeah. Yeah, so just let us know like if this was helpful, and then if you guys want to, do more of these, maybe we could have like some people from the chat trying to take trades with us if you'd like. Any of that.
100%. Well, I hope you guys got a lot out of this, and let us also know, like, it's going to help a lot, but let us know what other subjects you guys want us to cover in these courses. Like, we have a bunch that we've come up with.
Yeah.
Sharma mainly, but, we're coming down to the end of, like, what we think we can cover. I'm sure we could cover a bunch more, but it just helps getting your ideas out and understanding what you guys want to hear. It could just be one person, and we didn't even think of that question, and it would be a big help. So
yeah,
help us help you.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, this is like all super like personalized to you guys, like whatever you guys want to know about. There are a lot of the videos that we've made so far, like these were things that I wish that I had known. Someone had told me in the beginning, but if there's anything that like you've started trading and you're not really sure of certain things and you have a question about it, just feel free to just put into the chat or even like just comment below. The simulation session is going to be saved on both of our YouTube channels. So, just let us know what can we help you guys out with.
Exactly. And if you could just, spread the word about this and share the link, or send it to people that that trade. If you think it's going to be a big help for them, that's all we ask. And once I get back on Instagram, if it's a new one, just send that one around too, if you
Yeah.
don't mind. And
Yeah, for
we
sure.
appreciate it.
All right, have a good one, everyone.